Welcome back, our football fanatics, to another episode of NFL Twincast, NFL Twin Take. What are those? What are those? Corey, can you describe it to the people listening to
So
our
it
podcast?
looks like Kyle stepped into a bunch of mud and dirt, and his shoes need to be cleaned. Honestly, I can't tell you what's on those. It just looks really messy and dirty, and it looks like lawn mowing shoes, possibly. Maybe some kind of yard work shoes you like to wear.
So
Maybe hiking on trails when it's raining,
or running up hills,
painting.
like Walter Payton and Jerry Rice.
It looks like paints on them. I just can't.
So what they basically are, for the people listening to the podcast, actually, these are the like Mike shoes almost for basketball. When you put on these shoes, you play like Walter Payton. They're amazing Bear shoes, customized Chicago Bears logo all over. So
it's like a kid.
You put these babies on, and you become Walter Payton, running up hills and doing a Super Bowl shuffle and swag surfing.
So those shoes are ancient, is what we're saying.
Yeah, and so those, I'll keep those here for the podcast. And then also, yes, if you want to know what jersey I'm wearing, because we are talking about top 5 players for Offensive Player of the Year.
Oh, dude, we both got number 12.
So
mine's actually
Allen Robinson, baby, AR.
I'm just going to come out and say
underrated receiver in NFL.
Marcus Colston's who I'm wearing, and he obviously had a better career than Allen Robinson.
That was the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
No, I'm being serious. He did.
Dude, Allen Robinson
second to last draft pick, and him and Drew Brees were like third all time in touchdowns.
Yeah,
quarterback.
You just
out of Hofstra. They don't even have a football program anymore.
You just settled my argument. He played with Drew Brees. Allen Robinson has played with Blake Bortles and Trubisky, and he puts up almost 100 catches.
There's been a lot of receivers that play with Drew Brees. That doesn't mean they had great careers.
Okay, so anyways,
this is the real number 12, Marcus Colston.
Now we'll get into the odds for winning Offensive Player of the Year. So Corey, you want to?
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll start with who we think has the greatest odds of winning it. But before we dive into this, we kind of touched on it last episode when we went over MVP. It's kind of the award for like, hey, you're the best offensive player that didn't win MVP, or hey, you're the best receiver or running back, because the MVP is like a quarterback award. This one kind of goes to best offensive player that doesn't have to be on the best team. Yeah, so it's basically the best skill position player other than the quarterback. Yeah, honestly, and like you said, I like this award actually better because I do too.
Your team doesn't have to be like.
It even gives Bears players opportunities because the Bears are never going to have a winning team.
Dark horse Allen Robinson.
So this way, you guys can actually have.
Well, see, Corey says that, but actually, I remember A-Train having a pretty good year once. He had like 1,500 yards rushing. I mean, it's only a 1 year award.
You're bringing up Anthony Thomas.
Shane Matthews had like 2 good weeks when we had those back-to-back wins in overtime.
You're bringing up players.
Jim Miller.
Unless you're a Bears fan, no one knows.
Marty Booker had 80 catches for a couple seasons.
Okay, we're gonna.
Walter Payton won the award. I'll let you know. In the 70s.
Well, before we start off, I do want to say Kyle who won it last year.
Was Michael Thomas?
Can't guard Mike. You're dang right he won it, man. Best receiver in football. So
this year he's gonna win the Twiniot award with his Twitter fingers.
Okay, well, moving on. So obviously some of these guys we name, we also had an MVP race because I mean it does go hand in hand for the fact that if you have a chance of winning MVP and you're on offense, you probably have a good chance of winning Offensive Player of the Year. So at number 1, if you guys have listened to this or watched our YouTube channel or anything, you have heard me and Kyle rave about this guy. I think he's the best running back in football. Kyle, who is it?
Christian McCaffrey.
I mean, he's getting recognition, but not
enough.
Deserves.
Not enough.
Kyle, he is literally the 3rd player in the history of the game to have 1,000 receiving and rushing yards in a season.
Well,
that's unbelievable. It's hard to do any of that task, but he did both in one season.
Well, that's the thing with McCaffrey too. He's not the best running back. He's the best all-purpose back.
Oh, dude, you just get the ball in that guy's hands. He's gonna make it. He's gonna do something.
Well, we went over last time. We went over some of his stats and like how big of a part he is for that team and how he's not. He does 3 different things. Not well, does them great. Blocking, catching, running. He does them all. And especially too because last year they know every time. Okay, we're just gonna give it to McCaffrey because the Panthers were. They were a dumpster fire last year.
They were honestly like the Bears last year.
No comparison whatsoever. The only comparison I could see was they had Ron Rivera, who was on the Bears Super Bowl team. And they had Greg Olsen.
I don't know. They both had struggling seasons in quarterbacks,
But so with them now this year, I think they're going to be like a 7-win team, which that's actually progression for them. I like Matt Rule a lot. They brought in a lot of defense players, even though McCaffrey's on offense.
They will be a team that has a couple.
They got Sweaty Teddy.
So they're going to upset a couple teams.
And that's the thing. They're going to be a way better team this year. Yeah, they're going to be a way better team this year.
Keith Kirkwood.
So it's going to take some of the pressure and load off of McCaffrey, and he performed so well already with all the pressure.
He deserved every penny of his contract.
Yeah. Even more. He's still underpaid because of position.
Now all these running backs want the same contract. They don't deserve it. They haven't done what he's done. Kyle, he literally last year had almost 2,400 yards total.
Wow.
In a season.
Insane.
That's about as much as some quarterbacks do.
Well, and I really hope that it's like, how almost with the Madden curse, I hope with this late trend of running backs getting hurt when they get paid, I hope he breaks that and doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, I hope he
because I love McCaffrey. Dude,
there's a lot of tread on his tires.
Well, he just goes about his business, man, and I don't know what his offseason program is, dude. That guy is.
I sent him my training program.
Dude, he's yoked, man.
I know. I kind of sent him what I do, and
jaw day.
It's working for him.
Yeah.
But I don't really know how that applies to his talent on a football field. But
that's the thing. He's
not
opposite.
He's not a bodybuilder.
The opposite of Michael Thomas. He knows how to shut his mouth and do his job.
Well, staying on track here, he has the NFL record for most receptions in a season.
Yeah,
last year, and 116 catches.
Yeah, I think Matt Forte had it prior to him, actually.
Reggie Bush did too.
Well, that's good because he didn't do anything as a running back.
Kyle, listen to this. Another.
Thank God he got his. Thank God he can get recognized.
He had
in college again because his NFL career sucked.
He had more touchdowns than the whole entire Bears offense, basically. 19 touchdowns last year.
Wait, who are you talking about?
McCaffrey.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Reggie Bush.
19 total touchdowns.
I was gonna say I recall beating Reggie.
I mean, not
I'll get back on track.
That's probably close to the Bears' amount of touchdowns.
What, McCaffrey?
Yeah, 19 McCaffrey. He had 19 total touchdowns. Kyle says it all the time. He's a do-it-all player.
He's a blue collar, bring your lunch pail to work kind of guy.
Quote unquote, as Kyle says, stud.
He's a stud.
Fantasy football owners love the guy. He gets better each year, kind of like Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
I think that the fact that he hasn't won like MVP I just think there's a high chance that him or Russell Wilson, I think, get this award in my opinion. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
No, I just think he's going to perform well because he's got a better surrounding cast, brought in a bunch of good coaches, and I think like he's going to use that new contract and show.
They even got Robbie Anderson too to take the top off.
He wants to prove like, hey, you guys, I worked for this money, I deserve it. This isn't some kind of fluke.
So he wants to do what Mike Thomas did last year after he got paid. The only problem is though he does have to play the Saints defense twice a year, so I'm sorry about that.
Dude,
we have not a lot of 100-yard rusher in 4 seasons.
Does anyone else remember when Marshawn Lynch? Like, there was an earthquake in the Superdome when, or no, that was in Seattle. There was an earthquake.
Oh, of course you remember.
There was literally an earthquake because Marshawn Lynch just, like, destroyed the entire Saints defense.
Kyle remembers this because
does anyone remember that?
He was at home with the rest of the Bears fans watching the Saints in playoffs.
Does anyone else remember the George Kittle earthquake last year?
The kick is up. The kick is up. Oh, doink. Double doink. Oh, they're eliminated.
Here goes Alex Smith looking like Mike Vick in the playoffs to once again crush the Saints.
Once again, you guys were at home watching.
Okay, get on to the next player.
Okay, so another one that's an obvious candidate, Patrick Mahomes.
God, do we even?
I don't think we're gonna dive too deep into him.
Spend about 60 seconds on this one.
Okay, but All-Pro, NFL MVP, NFL Super Bowl MVP. Both seasons he had over 4,000 passing yards, and that's impressive because last year he missed games. Let's see what his
amazing touchdown interception ratio.
Well, he has over 65% completion percentage in his career. He has over 105 passer rating if you combine the 2 seasons he started. I mean, the guy, his numbers don't go down.
Could play in the MLB too. The most talented quarterback we've ever seen.
He just does stuff like the no-look pass, the sidearm throws. It looks like he's out there on a playground having fun, and his weapons around him are unreal. His play callers are unreal. It's just
one of the best coaches, best offensive minds. Brought in more talent with Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
LSU
Sammy Watkins will be healthy. So
the guy from Georgia is a stud too. That fast guy they had last year was a rookie.
Yeah,
Hardman.
Yep. And then their defense is better too and improving. So
Tyreek Hill stays healthy this year. I mean,
he's going to be top 3 for MVP voting, Offensive Player of the Year voting, top 3 quarterback, top 3 fantasy.
It's almost like he set his ceiling too high. So it's like, okay, do they give him one of the awards? Because what he does in a regular season, if another quarterback does that, they win the award. But since Mahomes has already set that.
Well, that's like how when Michael Jordan should win MVP and they gave it to Karl Malone.
Yeah, if you're doing it repeatedly, you're not going to give it to you every season. Yeah, that's your normal or your standard.
Or when Khalil Mack should win Defensive Player of the Year and they gave it to Aaron Donald.
Yeah, I honestly wish he would have won it because last year he was MIA. I didn't know he was playing.
Clearly
he wasn't injured last year.
Well, I guess you need to go see the same eye doctor Jameis Winston got and get that 30-30 vision checked out.
I went to Soldier Field and I couldn't find him when we were there with a bunch of backups.
Okay, well,
Latavius Murray, I think, trucked him a couple times.
Next week when we talk about the Defense Player of the Year, we'll get into the Mac Daddy, the Mac truck.
So number 3. The greatest receiver in NFL history once he's all done.
Allen Robinson.
Can't guard Mike, baby. Dude, this guy, in his first 4 seasons.
Marty Bunker.
470 catches. the the most catches in NFL history.
Yeah, he's a stud.
And he's had over 1,000 yards, including his rookie season, every year since he's been in the league. Every year he keeps increasing his catches. 149 catches in a season. And you want to know what? I am so sick of everyone who goes, well, if I got past you that many times, I could have that many catches. Really? He dropped it 3 times.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Out of 149 receptions, he had 3 drops. You can't do that. Just me and Kyle playing catch in the front yard. That doesn't happen.
False. I don't drop anything.
Okay, well, then you should be in the NFL.
I got Jesus hands.
But seriously, that doesn't happen. The guy, he's the best slant route runner in the league. That's automatic, and people want to make that joke too. But I'm like, dude, if defenders know the ball's going to him, no offense to the Saints, I mean, they're my favorite team, die hard, who dat, but we had no other options to throw to last year.
Well, 3
so
things.
It's like, dude, he shouldn't be putting up those numbers. They should double team him and stop him.
3 things. I'm going to start by saying he is the most productive receiver in the whole NFL.
No, easily.
But he won it last year.
Yeah, so
not going to win it again. 2.
Well, you have to put him up there, though.
Yeah. 2, they brought in Emmanuel Sanders, so he won't get as much targets, and they're going to kind of run a little more, give it to Kamara, and they don't want Drew Brees because he is older. His arm come playoff time,
I couldn't tell with his talent.
Okay, and then 4, I'm going to replace him with DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay, well, Kyle, you guys say goodbye to Kyle. He's done for today. I'll take over the rest of the show.
Best hands in NFL, DeAndre Hopkins.
That is false.
No.
I just went over his catch.
Michael Thomas is the most productive. Doesn't mean, but best hands, DeAndre Hopkins. Best size and speed, Julio. Together, I mean, there's different.
What are you trying to say about Mike Thomas? What's
and then the best speed, Tyreek Hill. Best size, Julio Jones.
Who's the most reliable?
Best hands, DeAndre Hopkins. That's what I just said. Most productive, Michael Thomas.
Yes. Okay, because last time I checked, your job's to catch a football.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm not done yet.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm not finished yet. So he has a career average of 11.7 yards per catch, Kyle.
Wow.
So everyone wants to say, oh, he only catches a slant route. Last time I checked, the slant route was less than 11.7 yards. Okay, anyways, catch rate of 80%.
Now I'm kind of regretting I didn't put vodka in this cup.
90% completion rate last season when throwing to him. Are you kidding me? That is unbelievable. Him and Drew Brees are the greatest quarterback wide receiver duo on the league.
My headphones went out. Did you say
did
you say he threw to him 90% of the time?
No, you fool. I said he caught 90% of what was thrown to him.
Oh.
When all is said and done, and you guys who want to say, oh, he has Drew Brees, that makes him great. Okay, we've had 50 other receivers in Drew Brees' career, and they've never done what Mike Thomas has done. Number 2, how come then Rodgers and Brady have never had a receiver that good? Number 3, it's because he has Brees. How come for 5 weeks when Sweaty Teddy was in there, Mike Thomas was wrecking havoc?
Okay, I just said he's the most productive receiver. He's also the best twittiest out of all the athletes. And
that's because he cares.
If I was Drew Brees, I would throw it to him too, because if not, he's going to cry worse than Terrell Owens does.
Wow.
Or Antonio Clown. The guy's a diva. I'm sorry. I used to like Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas, you are the most productive receiver in the NFL.
It's called passion.
No, passion.
Dude. It's called passion. He expresses on Twitter.
What kind of... No, it's stupid. If the kids look up to him, oh man, I'm going to be so tough on Twitter. Keyboard warrior of the year.
Well, he would whoop your ass on Twitter and in real life.
Let me go. I don't have a Twitter, but if I did, I'd go check, because Michael Thomas is probably already bashing me.
Yeah, he should be, because that is offensive and insulting and degrading, because he is the best wide receiver in all of football.
He is the most productive.
I don't care what he puts on Twitter. That guy does his job.
Diva.
And that diva's going to win a Super Bowl. He said, mark my word, it's Super Bowl or bust New Orleans. And he said his goal is to get Brees one more ring, and he's going to do it. This is our year.
I've said We're going to move on, because
I could go on for the last 20 minutes of this show about Mike Thomas. You can't guard him. It's proven. Kyle, go on to number 4, please.
Number 4, one of my favorite players outside of the basketball sports things. Yeah, Russell Wilson. Absolutely love Russell Wilson.
Jr.
I love Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson.
Sierra.
This isn't the MVP award, but again, he goes home to Sierra every night. I'm going to say that every time I talk about him. So he already is MVP off the field. And then also Russell Wilson, we already know he's Houdini. I think he's almost
elusive.
Yep, he's almost like Pat Mahomes.
His line's horrible.
He's like Pat Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers in his escapability.
Kyle, who does he look up to though?
Drew Brees.
That's right.
But I mean, dude, the guys, he had the least interceptions. He only had 5 last year.
Dude, he had nothing to work with.
That's what I was just gonna say. They brought in Greg Olsen. And they also have
he's good for about 4 weeks before he gets in.
Well, Disley's back too. They got Howard Stewart, so that's 3 tight ends right there. They have a 3-headed monster running back. They also brought Carlos Hyde. They have the guy from Ole Miss? Yep, Ole Miss, who was a stud last year. He's going to be even better this year. So, and then if they help the line just a little bit,
Tyler Lockett too.
So if they even help the line, Wilson's only going to get better.
Well, this is the first season going into this season that he has hype.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Russell Wilson's easily considered right now a top 3 quarterback, and it's going to piss off all Packers fans. But Colin Cowherd was listening to stats. The last 3 seasons, Wilson's taken over Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He's a better quarterback. He just is. Yeah. He doesn't have the better name, but this year will prove it. He can pass Aaron Rodgers in overall completion percentage.
Yeah, and Yeah, so, and then on top of that, I mean, he's been, is it 8 years or 9 as a starter, and he's made the playoffs 7 of them?
Doesn't he have the most wins?
Yeah, he's made the playoffs 7 out of 8. He's been in the Pro Bowl almost every year out of them, too. I mean, he's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won 1 Super Bowl.
He's the only constant besides Pete Carroll, too.
He's literally a younger Drew Brees, like, in size, stature, and accomplishments, and being overlooked. Like, Russell Wilson, him and Pete Carroll are just like Sean Payton and Drew Brees. I mean, Russell Wilson's awesome. The guy's amazing.
If you've watched football the past decade, the 2 teams in NFC that have repeatedly been in playoffs are Seattle and New Orleans.
Well, and I remember too when Russell Wilson, his career jump started against the Bears when he came in that game. And
I remember when Seattle knocked us out.
Like, who is this guy?
In a 4 or 5 year span, Seattle knocked us out 2 or 3 times.
Well, and dude, they had one of the best crowds. They had one of the best teams of the decade, and they were nothing without him. So
they should have had 2. They should have had 2 rings.
They were nothing without before Russell Wilson got there.
Oh, he's
changed the organization, the franchise. I mean,
as long as there's no injuries, he will be top 3 in either MVP or Offensive Player of the Year.
So last player.
This one's a surprising one, kind of, but it's not if you watched the NFL playoffs last year.
King Henry, baby.
Dude, he still has Earl Thomas blocking for him.
Yeah, what he did in the playoffs was insane. I mean, what do great players do when it comes playoff time? They step up, like, in those clutch situations, like they elevate their game.
Carry them.
Yeah. A lot of times, in basketball, sometimes players can make shots the first, the first 46 minutes, and then they don't want the ball in the last 2 minutes of the game. So a lot of players, Henry, he wanted the ball last year.
That's like quarterbacks in NFL. There's great quarterbacks, but when it comes to that final drive,
And last year in the playoffs, he elevated his game. I mean, the guy had over 1,500 rush yards, averaged over 5 yards a carry. He got Ryan Tannehill a brand new contract.
Oh, yeah, he should be paying. Derrick Henry should have a percentage of that.
And what he did in the playoffs, what do you have, almost 500 rushing yards or whatever? Or over 500? I mean, in 2 games, I think he almost had
against New England and Baltimore.
He had several games, I think, with 200 yards last year. Definitely a few 150-yard games. The guy was a beast.
Tennessee had no business making it as far as it did.
I mean, I wouldn't want to tackle him. That was a train running downhill. The guy was insane. He carried the Titans all the way to the AFC Championship.
And there's probably a lot of people that are like, why would you put him in your odds of winning Offensive Player of the Year? But the thing is, with how he finished last season, how can you not?
Well, that's what I was going to say, because the award, too, it doesn't count like postseason, and he came on definitely at the end of the season, elevated his game. So it's just like how you said Wilson has some hype going this year, so is Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's a big name now.
Which can be a good thing when people start to actually pay attention to you.
That's our top 5. So we have McCaffrey 1, Mahomes 2, Can't Guard Mike 3, Russell Wilson 4, and Derrick Henry 5th. Kyle, who's some other players?
I got Hopkins. Watson was a great quarterback, but Kyle, and then not on the same team. I have D-Hop and Kyler Murray. I think either one of them could win Offensive Player of the Year.
I think they'll both improve a lot. I think they'll both have great seasons, but I can't see them winning Offensive Player of the Year. So next, please.
Okay. I guess one more. I would
Dalvin Cook?
Yep, that's what I was just gonna say. If he's healthy for the full 16 games, and because I don't think he's gonna get that contract he wants. So
Kamara.
What?
Alvin Kamara. Sorry.
Okay.
He's got to be up there if you're gonna put Dalvin Cook.
What?
Yeah.
Did you see him last year? I couldn't find him.
He was injured half the season.
Oh, okay. What do you have, turf toe?
He was hurt and still did better than David Montgomery.
Dude, David Montgomery was running for his life. That was the most beautiful no gains I've ever seen in my life.
That is the most pathetic response I've ever. The most beautiful no game. You know you're a Bears fan. Dude. You know you're a Bears fan when you're bragging about not gaining a yard. Like, that is pathetic.
What do you call those?
What is the object of the game?
What do you call those, like, operas?
How do you get in that zone? Do you gain yards?
Can I?
Is this dance? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
This is a
like,
theater,
you know when
bro.
those people go to those theaters and they have, like, those fancy looking binoculars and,
dude,
that's what I felt like watching them, like, tiptoe and do that great footwork.
Okay, well, you need to start watching ballet instead of football.
Well, our O-line was as soft as Sherman Ultra. They spent more time on their backs getting pancakes, so that's why Montgomery, he's going to be a dark horse this year for most improved player.
Dark horse for
most improved player.
He has to improve. He had 100 yards.
He actually had 800.
He had 800 yards.
Yes.
Running what? Backwards and side to side?
No, having dodging like a cheetah, like 15 guys in the back.
Dodging a cheetah.
He was dodging like he was a cheetah. He had like 15.
Dude, he was getting tackled by 300-pound players.
He looked like a Roman emperor or something back there. I mean, it was like 300.
He's not even a gladiator. He's not even an offensive player.
He was a gladiator. He was Houdini back there. I mean, he was doing wonders. He was doing
Let's
magic
break
tricks.
this down real quick. Okay, so what other quarterback do you think has a chance in this?
What other quarterback?
You're gonna say Brady, probably.
Deshaun Watson.
And then Brady, probably.
Well, Deshaun Watson has no one to throw to. Darn it.
So you're probably gonna put Brady.
No. You low key. Drew Lock.
Oh my God. He's not winning Offensive Player of the Year.
Why?
Just if you guys want to hang up or stop watching or turn off your phones,
or if you want to come back to this video like week 8 when Drew Lock's lighting the league on fire with all those weapons.
Kyle drank the Kool-Aid. What about
Kool-Aid? What about Baker Mayfield?
I was gonna say Ben Roethlisberger. He had 4,000 passing yards 2 years ago.
If he can stay away from the old country buffet, and the Santa Claus diet workout program.
What about like Zeke Elliott or
Yeah, because they actually have now they have a coach who might give Zeke the ball.
That's what I'm saying. We got to think. Okay, other running backs that you would list.
Okay, what about
another receiver maybe?
Not J.K. Dobbins, not Taylor because he's gonna split.
You're not gonna name a rookie for offense.
Why not? There were some good rookies.
They went Roy. They went Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, that's true.
I know it's true. That's why I said it.
No, not Mike Evans. He won't. Julio Jones won't.
I already said Mike Thomas.
Not Godwin or Galladay.
Antonio Brown's too busy causing havoc.
He's a clown.
No Bears players. We're talking about all.
I just said Allen Robinson's got a shot.
He is one of the best receivers in my opinion. Who doesn't get credit, but dude, he doesn't because his quarterback in his system. I'm sorry, but he's not going to win offensive. He won't even be in the He won't be in the talk. He'll get like 90 catches.
Well,
Mike Thomas had his stats by like week 8.
Comeback player there could be Matt Stafford.
Yeah. I mean, Stafford can sling the ball.
I don't think Gurley's going to get the ball with his arthritis, so I'd count him out too.
Yeah. So it looks like we kind of went over who we think.
What about anyone on the Ravens? I mean, they kind of spread the ball too much, though.
We could have put Lamar Jackson in here.
Yeah, I was going to say, because if they don't give him MVP, they could give him Offensive Player of the Year.
We definitely could have put him in here.
J.K. Dobbins going to split with Ingram, so.
Deuce. Who, no one else? Okay, so, Kyle's going to get mad, but Aaron Rodgers you got to put in there, too.
No.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
Okay, well, Aaron Rodgers we got to put in there.
No. So what Corey's essentially saying is, just because you're Dallas or Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers or Prescott or something,
they'll be in there.
They'll automatically be in there until week 17, even if you have.
Last year, weren't they in there last year?
Of course they were. It's Dallas and Rodgers.
They were ahead of Mike Thomas for like the longest time, which made no sense to me. Yeah. But ESPN and NFL and everything, they know what gets views, and at the end of the day, it's all about marketing.
Views from the six.
It's marketing and money. That's what it's about. So it makes sense. That's why when you turn on ESPN, you're always going to see Green Bay, Dallas, New England. You're going to see certain fan bases talk about it, even if they're not having a good season.
So do you think like maybe, like you said, I know it's rookie, but do you think like maybe like Judy or Ruggs or Lamb or any of them could maybe have a chance?
No, because you didn't say Justin Jefferson. All right, so we're moving on. Next week we're going to go.
You think Stephon Diggs out of Buffalo now?
Are you kidding me? He gets 50 catches a season.
Well,
you watched him.
I remember the Minnesota Miracle against New Orleans.
You played him twice a year.
You still have nightmares.
He knows nothing about football.
You still have nightmares.
Stephon Diggs.
At least the Bears could beat the Vikings. We haven't lost.
At least we could beat the Eagles.
We haven't lost to the Vikings ever since
beat the Eagles
ever
since I've known you.
Okay, well,
my whole life that means I've never seen you beat the Eagles.
Yeah, well, those Tweety birds, they're a bunch of Twittiest themselves.
They beat you every time.
Yeah, they need to go fly into a window.
Okay, well, anyways,
bunch of bird crap. Like when you get bird crap on your windshield, you gotta go get a car wash.
Or Kyle's Bears decal. Next week we're going over Defense Player of the Year. So Cam Jordan's definitely up there. Demario Davis, probably Marshawn Lattimore.
Are you forgetting
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson?
Khalil Mack, baby.
Aaron Donald.
Return to the Mack. The 85 Bears are back.
We gotta find
himself on a Mack.
He says return to Mack because we couldn't find him last year. He's returning back.
Trust me, I'm gonna have
a
great rant where I'm gonna even convince Packers fans that Khalil Mack's gonna win Defense Player of the Year next week. So tune in.
Okay, well, yeah. So a little preview. Kyle's gonna be delusional next week, but hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. And next week we'll go over Defense Player of the Year
and hopefully the MLB players can stop crying about the $300 million they're getting and go play.
Yeah,
play ball.
Yeah, well,
and sports. Hey, at least we have NBA and NHL though, end of July. So,
well, hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Go Saints and Who
Bear down.
Thanks for listening.